Hello everyone. So this is me, Tom from the Cryptoverse. So what we're going to discuss is we're going to gain like what's the insight of what's really happening in the States, how people see the crypto in generally in the United States, like to more know about the local person and as well as a person from the EBC Financial Group to give us more insight. So good morning, Samuel. It's morning and Saturday for us. How you been?
Good. How are you, Tom? Yes, all good. How are you today?
Good. So, we're into this crypto market. Like, I'm a host of Cryptoverse channel on YouTube in Mongolia. So, what we'd like to discuss is the overview of the Genius Act. Like, what is like Genius Act, and what's like been highlighted by this act. And so, even some of the Senate heads of states stating that like by the end of this year, the crypto bill will be ready, and it will help. And even the crypto enthusiasts believe that if this bill approved, like it would greatly impact the price of Bitcoin, and not just Bitcoin, like overall all the crypto as well as like stable coins. The like regulation would be so clear. What are your insights? I mean, thoughts on this?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Sam from EBC Financial Group. I think in simple terms, the Genius Act currently under discussion in the U.S. is a legislative proposal aimed at supporting the crypto market and establishing, the legal framework. Up until now, as you said, kind of, the U.S. crypto regulations have been, ambiguous all over the map. So the SEC would now, the Securities and Exchange Commission would interpret for one thing, whether the CFTC would take a different stance on how the U.S. would kind of regulate cryptos, right? So the regulatory uncertainty has definitely posed a lot of uncertainty, also even for banking, for a lot of things, right? For at least people in the U.S. So it's this act would definitely kind of be a major step in resolving some of those issues. It would clearly define whether crypto is defined as classified as a securities or commodities, and creating an environment where companies or investors can kind of operate like very clearly. You kind of see you're kind of seeing that this is pretty unprecedented. Years ago you would have never thought this would be happening, right? But now you're kind of seeing like the U.S. government making some like really hard stops. So I think we're going to be seeing if this is really going to like go through, and if it does, you'll see it like definitely gain more traction in the US. I think from the investors perspective, if this is enacted, you could see like if the US is giving full confidence to crypto, then you'll definitely see probably across the world greater acceptance and more more using it.
Okay, thank you for that. So my next question is like was to ask why is it considered significant for the crypto industry? But I think you overall like generally covered that. Then let's move on to the next question that I have. So from what I know, there's one. I think it was Texas. There's and also another state who that will like have their own crypto reserve. Bitcoin reserve. Like that bill is like locally passed. And several like U.S. states are exploring like creation of their own Bitcoin reserves. Are there any like indications of which state might be the first to implement to actually use like the taxpayers' money to buy to establish like Bitcoin reserve, and by like making it official that by passing the Genius Act, it will open the door to have a like national Bitcoin reserve. So far, like as under the like Donald Trump's regime, we already have like there's an act that use the unused like funding to buy Bitcoin, right? If not, if my understanding is wrong, like you can clarify that as well.
Yeah, maybe my Wyoming, they've already enacted like blockchain friendly legislation, and they're I think they're the ones closest kind of exploring the creation of a Bitcoin reserve, to protect against inflation and depreciation of the dollar. Like what countries used to do with gold. So now states are thinking about what with Bitcoin. Yeah, I think we'll see, which states are the most time will tell which states are the most kind of aggressive to building up. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Texas, Wyoming, I think that the states that already have legislation on the books or that are blocking are the most likely ones to actually, accomplish, to reach this goal, right? Because it's gonna be kind of a multi-year kind of process to kind of accomplish that.
And what potential impact would this state level Bitcoin reserves have on the broader crypto market and the US financial system? So previously, like you said, a year or 2 years ago, everybody kind of not hated, but it had bad reputation. By owning a Bitcoin or doing something related to crypto, you consider it as shady. Even still to this day, we consider that considered as a person who was a shady involved in the shady market. However, now it's becoming more officially recognized. I think that's the correct term to refer to it. So the impact of this national level Bitcoin reserve on the broader crypto market and as well as US financial market.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, number one, when the government is kind of putting the stamp saying that, okay, this is approved, this is real, and we're recognizing this, it definitely gives, significant, confidence in that, and especially if the state government allocates a portion of their treasury to investing in Bitcoin. I mean, then citizens, investors, both are likely to feel like, okay, this is not a Ponzi scheme. This is not, this is not fake, right? This is a real thing that we should really think about, investing in. Second thing, being legitimized as an institutional asset, even if the government, considers investing in Bitcoin acceptable, banks, after that soon banks and investment funds are likely to follow, even more than some are already doing, right? Really follow. So I think this definitely paves the way for substantial capital inflows into the market. And then, third, it provides, protection against race, with the, if the dollar depreciates, Bitcoin has a cap supply and it's not subject to inflation, it's like, gold 2.0. So, for this reason, it kind of makes sense that it's people should think of it as a strategic reserve, but, probably, would be good not to throw all of your assets, right? 100% of your assets into Bitcoin, but it's really getting back to oh, this is a really, if the government's getting behind it, then this is a safe and reliable thing to invest in. Yeah, or to hold long-term value, yeah.
Okay, from the answer to move on to the next question, how do people in the United States generally perceive cryptocurrency today? How has public sentiment evolved in this market evolved in the recent years?
Yeah, I mean, 15 years ago or something, for the first 10 years, it was just seen as a scam, a get rich scheme or a place for, people to do illegal activity. So it's definitely matured a lot, first among young people, when the bubble, they had the boom in the bus cycles, the big bump, the big booms, they had these, financial freedom, the kids, making all this money from the Bitcoin, right? But slowly it's kind of settled in that this is a real, it's not for scammers or bad people. It's for legitimate, business reasons. And it's an actual, it's a real asset, just like, kind of anything else that you can invest in, right? So, I think that older investors have started to view Bitcoin as a store of value now. That I think that's something that wasn't seen before. It was more, speculation. And now I think that mindset is really changing, and it's kind of a hedge against the US depreciation or, kind of other inflation, right? And, and also, the businesses are seeing crypto as this, fast, transparent, technological infrastructure, that it's not just, the Bitcoin, but it's also the smart contracts. It's like the whole technology that it's all built on, so I think that slowly the US, the Bitcoin in the US is not seen as some high risk venture, but as, being recognized as part of this, new economy.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And to move on to the next question, I would like to know what was your personal experience with the crypto? Have you invested in anything else besides Bitcoin, or only like or your Bitcoin maxi?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I knew what I was, doing when I was taking some risks, for fun, like $50, kind of putting in some money and some different coins. I was never really a serious, for my personal experience, I was never really a serious crypto trader, but it's been kind of fun to see, everyone should do their proper research, right? And seeing what what the product is about and stuff. But yeah, I have some Ripple, but that's from like five years ago or something.
Okay. And as you mentioned before the call, from what I heard, like the EBC Mongolia is having like BTC USD pairing. What unique value do you aim to deliver to the market by having this Bitcoin and USD pairing? Like from what I heard, like EBC Financial is mostly like Forex. What do you call broker, but now they're adding the Bitcoin USD to the like Mongolian local market. Like, what do you deliver with this pair to the market?
Yeah, I mean, this was a really long-term, we've had clients asking us for a long time to provide, not just in Mongolia, but, globally for clients to provide Bitcoin, BTC USD. And for a long time, we kind of resisted. We would tell them, "Oh, go to an exchange, trade with an exchange." Because when we offer something, we really want it to be solid. We want lots of depth, lots of liquidity. We want it to be as robust as possible. So until we kind of found that really great, until we were able to make that partnership, we wanted to, we didn't want to roll anything out that was bad. So why rolling it out now? We had the good partner, right? But I think that it's useful for clients because, with the EBC account, you can trade a lot of things, and our kind of core value is to be the North Star for traders worldwide. So, we're not EBC, we're not trying to be the biggest company. We just want to be the best for the products that we offer. So we felt comfortable that, okay, we're comfortable with launching this Bitcoin product and to be, a value to our clients, value to our clients.
So you mentioned the point for the liquidity provider. So how do you select your liquidity provider for this pairing? And at the same time, like what like partnership or strategies you implemented to ensure the high market like liquidity? So because as a person who was in this involved in the crypto market, like like liquidity, because of the liquidity, like some of the like really high potential cryptos like gone down. So we have a bad experience with the liquidity providers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hopefully you won't have that here. I'm not in the risk and dealing team. It would be better. I should have asked them to you should email them and ask them for the very specific, they'll give like very technical, information. I could just tell you from like the experience of, working at this company for a long time, right? That it's, that people want to trade. They want to trade, as at 2 a.m., at 5 a.m., whatever, or during, news events. So it's making sure you have that depth of market and that deep liquidity, so that you're never having your type of issues that you can't open or close a trade. We never want the clients to have that. So that's what EBC is kind of built on. So any of the products, I know this is not exactly the answer you want. You want all the technical things. I can email and get that. Right, but it's about the because the EBC is built for traders. That's that's our core demographic. So it's the trading has to be good. Otherwise, we don't really have a company.
Okay. From my part, I think I'm done with all the questions I prepared and wanted to ask. So the overall view of it is like the previous like Biden's under the government Biden's regime, like SEC was like highly against like crypto related things. Even some of the banks will not do business with the crypto related companies, and
it's still like banks. That. People are getting their account shut down. You get a payment in the U.S. from some crypto exchange. Maybe your account at Chase, or maybe not Chase isn't bad, but some other banks, they just shut your account down. You have to like be careful with how you use money.
So it's true that it's getting better, but like it's still not there to like completely accept it, right?
Yeah, no, which is crazy, right? Because if you know the reality, it's like Bitcoin, everything is open. You can see everything. So it's kind of funny that like, their justification is, it's like, oh, it's, it's blah, blah, blah. It's hidden, everything. It's like, actually, no, you can go and you can see everything. It's all there, so it's like the bank account is what's opaque and, behind a hidden wall, but, crypto is, totally open.
Like it's like peer-to-peer, like digital cash system, like as I mentioned in the white paper, like it's just a digital account, but now it becomes something different. Do you see it still like it's a digital, the Bitcoin as a digital peer-to-peer like digital cash system, or is it something similar to commodity, and like does it have like some aspect of from commodity and like
I mean, but to me, it's like gold. What is gold? It depends what your goal, what you're using it for. It could literally, it could be anything, right? I mean, not as many uses as Bitcoin or all this crypto, but it's the same sort of thing. What are you using it for? Because it's just so multi-use. Yeah. So I think obviously with, it's great for for traders, because there's a lot of volatility, right? So that's great for them if they but yeah, for your, it depends on the, the type of one of your viewers, what they're looking to accomplish with Bitcoin, Yeah, I think that would be my answer. Depends on what they're doing. Yeah.
And one last question. If somebody like who's new to the crypto market would ask for a book recommendation, like is there like any book you would recommend? So if you like read this, you will get the basic idea. Is there like any book that comes to your mind?
No, sorry. I would say watch your channel. No, I don't know.
That's a good answer though.
No, do your research, obviously you have an angle, other people have an angle. I think that, yeah, you want to understand as much as possible. And again, like, what are your goals? What is your understand your risks. Probably start small. I mean, if you're trading, yeah, definitely, do your education, start small, and it's a learning process, but don't give up. You can learn to trade. I think, yeah, it depends. But if it's a long-term hedge and you're just holding it, I mean, yeah, that's another way, right? It depends what your goal is. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great advice, and I think that's a wrap. Thank you for your time, Samuel, and answering on the questions I prepared. So with this interview, I think we kind of get the idea of how people still see the crypto in US. Even though there is a lot of news covering that it's still like so open, people like widely accept it. As you mentioned, they kind of mentally do, but still not in the use. Like that's what I get out of the interview. And yeah, if you have
it's not there yet, because there's a lot of people in the US, they still write checks. Do you know what a check is? It's like a piece of, it's like countries don't have this, so they're just a lot of people are just very old school, and the technology behind it is complicated, even though you don't really need to know the technology behind it. Like, we don't know the technology behind this computer or how Zoom works, but we're on it right now. So I think that people get a bit lost in trying to understand the technical parts when it, why does that matter? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, it was really nice talking with you, Tom, and yeah, have a nice day. Have a nice Saturday.
Yeah, hope to see you again. Thank you for your time, Samuel.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, bye-bye.